Hey, everybody.
Howdy.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Oh, welcome. This is Wes. Do you want to take it away? What are we looking at here? A lot of
Well,
people.
we've got Criken. It's good to be here with you. And we have today a wonderful panel of voice actors, folks from Bethesda, talking about Oblivion Remastered. This is a game that took the world by storm 20 years ago. And then other games came along. Skyrim came along in many different formats. And we've seen Fallout since then. We've seen all sorts of Fallout. We've seen Elder Scrolls Online. But suddenly now, Oblivion has been remastered and looks beautiful and better than ever. It's like a brand new game, and people are rediscovering it. Some people are seeing it for the first time. Some people are rediscovering it after playing it years ago, and many people are loving it. It's one of the things that's selling the most right now, even over games that have been created recently. Oblivion Remastered is doing great guns and swords out there, and we have brought together a group of voice actors who are on the original game. We brought a voice actor who is new to the game. We brought Jess Finster, who's with Bethesda Game Studios and is the most fun person. We've had so much fun hanging out together doing
Oh,
things together. And today we're all together, one, not just to celebrate this wonderful game and the wonderful time we had doing it, but to do some good, to bring some light into the world because we're fighting against Alzheimer's disease. Voiceapalooza, we've been doing it for about 4 years now with Fallout for Hope and Kenneth Vigue, and we've raised over $150,000 so far to help families who are in need, to have people who are suffering from Alzheimer's, for research, to help keep lines open. There is a 24/7 hotline through the Alzheimer's Association. If you go to alz.org, you can go to that hotline, and at any given day of any time of the day or night, there's somebody there who understands, who's been there, who knows, who can help you, who can help find solutions. Because Alzheimer's doesn't just take away who you are, doesn't just take away the memories and strip the personality and change the person that you love. It takes them before you lose them for good. I lost my mother. I lost my grandmother. I'm in the midst of losing an aunt. She's our crazy aunt. We always loved her. So it took a little while for us to really diagnose that something was going wrong because she was the crazy aunt.
Mhm.
But now you see that slipping away. And it tears families apart, especially those who don't have, when the caregivers are there trying to take care of somebody and hiding it from the world because they do hide this sometimes. They feel like there's a shame involved with Alzheimer's disease or dementia. We don't want them to know what's happening in our family. That this person is slipping away, this person's angry where they never used to be, when this person is not the person I knew and loved. Well, you are now the keeper of their memories. And we are dropping the gloves and we are fighting back because the Alzheimer's Association has been working tirelessly to do research to find what causes Alzheimer's disease and dementia and how can we stem that tide, pull it back, keep our loved ones longer. And in the time that we've been doing Voiceapalooza over the past 4 years, medications have been developed that if you take them early enough in the process, you stay who you are longer. And isn't that what we're fighting for? We're fighting for the memories, for the love. We're fighting for your grandma, for your grandfather, for your aunt, your uncle, your father. And because it's hitting everybody younger and younger these days, you're fighting for yourself. So, what do we do? Voiceapalooza. We bring together fun for funds. We're going to ask you guys to make some donations. Like the amount of a cup of coffee is just fine. Now, I know you may have to mortgage your house for a cup of coffee these days. Maybe no. But if you look over into the chat, you're going to find little buttons, little things to click. Up top, you're going to find things you can click to donate. Please do.
Wes,
Please take a
sorry to
little
interrupt you,
something
but
because it's going to help people, and we thank you so much.
we just got a $150 donation from Zakute, which has now brought us now over $27,159 and
Right.
37
Thank
cents.
you.
What a
Thank you,
great
Zach.
raise.
Hey,
Nice.
Well done.
Fantastic.
Thank you for the
Thank
real
you.
donation.
heroes.
Thank you.
Yes, and commonly rodent, $10 donation. Thank you.
So commonly rodent.
And we hear all the usernames that come
Rocks.
with this.
Now, Criken, let me ask you a question here, sir.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing Oblivion Remastered?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I could probably check the charts real quick. Let's see. It looks like 58 hours so far.
15
Um,
hours so far. And
yeah.
tell me,
Little baby time.
you're a
Yeah, that's baby time.
connoisseur of these games. What do you think? Where are you are you enjoying? Are you immersed in it?
Yeah, I've loved it. I mean, look, I played Oblivion. I mean, earlier, I think Craig, you were talking about how you've had so many people come up to you and applaud your performance as the adoring fan, and the many, Dunmer in the Elder Scrolls, and how they played when they were a kid. I'm one of those people. I played Oblivion when I was in like fourth or fifth grade, I think, and I obsessed over it. So, although I only have 50 hours in the remaster, I've probably got thousands of hours in the original. And have done pretty much everything under the sun. So with this remaster, of course, I was very skeptical. I love Oblivion. I was cautiously optimistic, but I didn't want to get my hopes up. And I have had nothing to say but like, you guys absolutely smashed it, blew it out of the park. It feels spiritually the same game while tweaking and improving on all the aspects that I think didn't age as well as the others, and it still maintains that soul. And a huge reason of that is the cast, many of which are here today.
That's a
That
great segue to have you start introducing everybody, Criken.
oh, it's on me. All right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
No
Well,
pressure, Criken.
yes, yeah. Let me pull up my handy cheat sheet here. So we are joined today by, of course, as you just heard, Wes Johnson, the voice of Lucian Lachance, the Gray Fox, Shea Gorath, and many, many more, including most of the, pretty much all the Imperial males from the base game.
All criminal scum.
Exactly. We are also joined by Elizabeth Noon, the voice of female Argonians and female Khajiits and Belay. Love your work.
Thank you.
And Craig Sechler. Sorry if I mispronounced any of these.
Eckler.
Seckler. Craig Seckler, the voice of the Adoring Fan and all male Dunmers, which we've seen a lot of the Adoring Fan in my playthrough. Jeff Baker's here as well, the voice of Haskill. We were just doing Shea Gorath in the previous stream. Everyone loves Haskill. What a grounding force in that maddening world.
What's very interesting is you've got both Craig and you've got Jeff here, and both have been elves and dark elves and very different kind of things. I did you ever call anybody an Enwa, Craig, or is that only Jeff?
I would never use the N word.
Well, Jeff was NYing everywhere.
Yeah, no, especially in Morrowind, I know that was very common. We're also joined by Barry Byrne, the voice of the female Golden Saints and female Dark Seducers from the Shivering Isles.
I will deign to speak with you, mortal.
Oh,
She's still got it.
Haven't lost a thing, girl.
As well as John Curry, who is, I think, one of the voices from the new remaster. So it's a new voice we're hearing in this game.
That's right. Well, because John, they basically felt like all these Imperial guards must have come from the same family. Way too much inbreeding, and it was getting very awkward at Thanksgiving. So we had to bring in a whole new, basically the mailman.
Yeah.
The mailman showed up and was responsible for all of John's characters.
Well, I do love the idea of, whenever you go in the Imperial City, you're just met with like maybe 7 Wes Johnsons and 6 John Currys, and they're all talking at each other. And it really does feel like it's like Bring Your Son to Work Day sometimes, where you get like the same voice over and over again. And then last but not least, of course, we're joined by Jess Finster, who works at Bethesda. Thank you so much for joining us, Jess.
Yeah, I do not do voices. Nobody wants that, but it is a joy to be here.
Thank
you, guys.
Things like yours, Jess, you don't need to do voices.
Perfect.
Okay, all right.
I'll leave it to you guys, the experts. Thank you for having me and for joining us on this awesome stream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and of course, I'm Criken. I don't matter. I'm a live streamer. I play games for a living. and including, of course, many Bethesda games, which I'm a huge fan of. And so I was absolutely honored that I was asked to be a part of this, and of course, for such a great cause, but also to meet so many of my childhood heroes in one room is so special. So thank you for having me.
Is that like Khajiit walking on water?
You would be correct. This is my character. His name is Will Ferrell. That's Wilferal. And he is. I basically went for as fast a character as possible. He's level 27 now, and he only uses his fists. He's an unarmed cat. So this is my comfort character. I load up Oblivion and I run around and just see how fast I can go.
There is nothing wrong with that. That's what is best about Oblivion. It's got a play style for everybody, even if you just want to run around as a cat man punching things.
Exactly.
Gosh,
So, Criken, have you ever decided you're going to play for just about a half an hour before bed? How does that work out for you?
Not usually so well, especially as a streamer. Usually half an hour turns into 6 hours, and then they start. The community starts begging for a 24-hour stream. That's the whole thing. That's just a marathon where you lose yourself entirely in the game. So
Let's look at the word and examine the word streamer. Do you ever take bathroom breaks?
I probably not enough. I think I've definitely learned a lot of bladder discipline in my time as a streamer. As don't really think about your necessities until absolute need comes up. But hey, that's one of my many skills I learned from this job. Also, one quick note, I will say I apologize if it looks like I'm ever in excruciating pain during this. I tweaked my neck. I have a pinched nerve ending right now as of 2 days ago. And so it's nothing any of you guys are saying. I am also in excruciating pain. So I'm being brave because I really wanted to be here. But if I do look like I'm grimacing, don't take it personally. Okay.
We just thought you were a tough guy.
Oh yeah. I'm just so tough. I love playing video games in my pajamas. This is my special calling.
You could sprain your pajama muscles, that sort.
Yeah.
So when you look at the performances, are there any that you want to of us here? Now you've got us captive.
Yes,
do you have any questions? Does anybody out in the audience have any questions that they would like to ask of any of the voice actors here about Oblivion or Oblivion Remastered?
I
Of course.
definitely have seen that there have been several comments already, at least on the Bethesda side, asking for any voice impersonations, which I feel like is, the obvious one. So I'm sure those will trickle throughout the stream. But if there are any greatest hits that what your favorite lines are of your characters or somebody else's
here's an idea. I'm actually running on the way over to my favorite little wood elf Glarthier in Skingrad, and I figure. Yeah.
Oh,
He did
yeah.
not survive my playthrough.
He doesn't survive many playthroughs, but he's still alive in mine. So maybe if we run over to him, if you guys want, you could do like a little voicing of one of the segments of his quest, and we can see if it holds up.
Well, I
I
would
don't believe
imagine,
there's game capture
what would-
audio currently, so it's all going to be.
What would
you go
this
to mine.
Khajiit be saying as he's running so fast through the woods here?
Oh yeah, I think yeah. Well, I used to love to do. I liked it when I got killed or knocked down or ran so fast I thought my ass was gonna fall off my legs, but it didn't. Never.
Wow, that is exactly how I imagined Will Ferrell sounding. Thank you so much for bringing it to life.
Feral. Great.
Wow.
How would Elizabeth, if I don't mind asking, what sort of practicing do you do to prevent your throat from getting really messed up doing that voice?
I think that's a really
so much
good
gravel.
question because, when we were in these sessions, and there were no tricks then, you just went in and you were at the microphone and hours later, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours later, you came out. I think the most important thing is that you do voice exercises, you do all those singing kind of voice exercises because it teaches you to pull from that reserve when you're doing a character, because you're used to hearing your voice at many different levels. So I do AEIOU up and down a scale. And especially in the shower, if before a session like this, I'll do it in the shower because it just puts all the moisture right down in here.
Elizabeth, let's practice that together.
In the shower?
Yeah.
There we go.
I think it was.
I like to, when I have to
also-
do a deeper voice, I like to sing the company store song.
Okay.
You know, just to myself, you work 16 hours. What do you do? Another day older and deeper in debt. Which might as well be the song for voice actors, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That's an interesting
You know,
point you
the
bring
other
up.
thing too that somebody told me a long time ago, everybody probably knows this of us, but maybe it might help people that are watching it, is sucking on a green apple.
Mhm.
Mm.
Right.
That opera singers use that a lot of times.
Is it because it's more
Yeah, you
sour?
just suck, there's
or-
something about a green apple. It's the
Huh.
tartness, the juice or something that's supposed to be really good. Barry, do you
Helps
know
with
you
the
heard that?
phlegm too. Helps with.
Have you ever
No,
tried
but I
throat?
was going to, I was just going to interject that I thought that I was grateful to Bethesda for saving all the fight noises to the very
Yes.
end of the session.
Yeah.
Because you can really
That
blow
helps.
yourself out on those, and you do a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard a
Yeah,
lot of
the,
that.
the effort sounds, the fight sounds. And the thing is, you've got to make them sound like it's the actual character doing it. It's not, you can't just do one set of fight sounds and leave it at that. They all don't all sound the same. So if you're doing a Golden Saint or a Dark Seducer, you got to sound like them as you're fighting, or the Adoring Fan has to sound like the Adoring Fan in a fight and in reactions, getting hit with blades and things of that sort. You can't just do the same. Although I will say, one of the cool things about playing this game is that since I did the voices of all the Imperials to begin with, all the effort sounds that you have when you are playing as an Imperial are me. Those are all my fight sounds, all my effort
Yeah.
sounds. So I always play as an Imperial. It's so meta. So I get to sit there and hear myself in the fight, fighting and doing it. It's kind of, that's a cool thing about being in the game is actually having my voice be the voice I hear when I'm doing fights and battles.
That
That's
takes you out
Dying
some.
without dying, is nice too.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used
get
to
a
love
nice.
the way they wrote it in
Dying
the
amongst
vocal
the living
sounds
is
in the script.
nice.
What's that, Jeff?
I used to love the way they would write those sounds in the scripts. Arg and UG,
Right.
Yeah, you know what? Because I think a lot of the takeaways I have, especially around the combat sounds in Oblivion, they're really well like enunciated vowels, like strings. Like it really is a hurt. Ow, that hurt. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna try to do any voices anymore.
He just hurt his neck.
Yeah, I just popped.
Yeah,
I
don't
just
do
popped.
that. That's a real pain
Yeah,
sound.
I'll leave it to the experts. I'll leave it to the
We
experts.
don't
My
need
bad.
the real pain sounds, just the foe.
Yeah. All right, we found Glarthier here.
Oh, there he is. Now he's got a bit of a glow up. You've noticed in Oblivion Remastered, everybody gets a little bit of a glow up.
Yeah, look at those cheekbones. Yeah, he really has.
Oh yeah.
And the beard too. It really pulls it all together.
I mean, he's being played by Jared Leto in this one.
Now, here's a question. Are you guys the type that would feed into the paranoia of a silly little half elf or wood elf like Larthier? Or would you be the one to, stick to your guns and say that actually nothing is out of the ordinary and it's all in his head?
I find it annoying that he makes me follow people all around town and watch them go rake things for half an hour or 2 hours. And I'm like, isn't there something more exciting I could be doing? Why don't I just turn him in and let them kill his butt? I was doing something else when he came out of nowhere to shove his agenda onto mine.
So true. Yeah, and it's kind of jarring when they initiate dialogue and you aren't expecting them because it whips your camera around and they zoom into the face. So yeah, I love him for being a little bit of a jump scare.
Yeah. I mean, but you would think for someone as paranoid and out of control as he is, he wouldn't be as much into the personal hygiene and the grooming as he is. I mean, he's fairly impeccable right there,
Yeah. Actually, I want to ask
It's very nice.
Craig and Elizabeth and John. I know since you also voice some of the default races in this game, would you feel like you're more inclined to pick the character that you voice in the game, or do you think that having some separation makes it a little more believable for you?
To ask the question again, I may be a little Khajiit at this point.
Oh, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
If you were to
Who would
play
you
Oblivion,
choose?
do you think you would pick a female Argonian or Khajiit to play so you would hear your own voice? Or do you prefer to pick one that you didn't voice yourself?
That's an interesting question. I think I'd probably want to hear my own voice first,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and then and then either go from that into developing something I haven't heard, so that I don't go into any old habits of the characters I've already created.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
makes
fair.
sense.
I find when I listen to it sometimes, Liz, is that I'll hear my voice the first time through, and what I'm listening for is it immersive? Does it work within the context? Because when we voice these things, we're voicing separate paragraphs, separate sentences. They're all
Hmm.
withdrawn from any context other than what we're being given by the director or the writers or the devs who are there with us at the time. So when we get a chance to listen to it in the game, it's like, does it work? Does it fit?
Yeah.
It did good. And then I'll let it go. Then I'll just become the guy with the controller. And I don't pay as much attention to the point where I might yell at some of my characters if they annoy me, which they often do.
Hey, it's the same qualities streamers do. So I think, you and I are kindred spirits in that way.
I
Um,
think it's sort of interesting too that, when you hear it, you realize how well written and how the editing for the writers and the creators of the content are, because we don't have content. We just have lines,
And the
Mhm.
directors, the
and they
directors,
create this story that intertwines all of our characters and builds our characters. And, we have beginning, middle, and ends of our exploits, of our journey. I just find that fascinating in it.
and the directors did such a good job too in the
Yeah.
sessions, making sure you were grounded in some context anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a huge element for me, having not been familiar with the project at all when I got called in, and I had some familiarity with some of the races and the species and different types from other aspects of Elder Scrolls, but I didn't know anything about Oblivion. So I had luckily a great director in George Ackles, and he just kept me on. He kept me on track, and if you would begin to deviate or it didn't work within the context of the scene, he would gently bring you back on track, and that for me as an actor is so important, because you can dial in the voice, but you really need to have context.
Right.
John, I have a
Us, it
question
was
for you.
Mark
Were
Lamp.
you in your own studio, or were you in an outside studio with your director?
I was at a studio in LA.
Because that makes a big difference.
For me, it's everything. I am not an engineer. I will be the first to admit it. It's a miracle that I can send auditions and get on Source Connect from time to time. But that said, I will always ask for to be live in studio on any project. And of course, as you all know, it's harder and harder to get those now. But I feel for games in particular, games and animation, obviously, they're going to bring us in because they have more
Yeah, we
exact.
were spoiled. We were all brought into the studio. None of us did anything out of our own. I mean, because
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't until COVID, really. I mean, it wasn't until COVID that we had to divert to the home booth, and you really had to up your game with your home booth. But
Mhm.
prior to that, I was always in a studio, whether it was commercial, demo, didn't matter. You always had a director or a producer.
I
can I
loved
ask?
going to the studio. We would go in and work with
Oh,
Mark
so
Lampert, who was a great
wonderful.
director for us, sound
Was that in
director.
DC or when you were doing it, or where
Yeah,
were
yeah. When we
Yeah.
the original version, Mark Lampert for years and years was the sound director at Bethesda, and he put together all these landscapes of sound that you hear, and the things that he would work with were just amazing. Many layers of things to become one thing, and he was just fantastic. He only recently left and retired out because he worked his buns off for like 2 decades.
Uh-huh.
For us, and I don't want to speak for everybody else there, but when I was in the studio with him, we would occasionally call in a dev or a writer or somebody of that nature to get clarification or find out what's going
Yes,
on. But
right.
Mark was very inquisitive about what we're doing in this moment and why we're doing this. And it was his idea to me to say, hey, this character here is a little different. I know we're doing the race voices with the Imperials and all that, but this character here is a little darker. Maybe you want to try something different with him. And that was Lucian LeChance.
Oh yeah.
And when I did Lucian and he was so different from everybody else, it really made him stand out. And I think because he did stand out so much and because it was so popular to have a character that was that unique in the middle of this whole thing, by the time we went to the Knights of the Nine and went to the Shivering Isles, they were like, let's get voices for everything and everybody. It was the explosion then that destroyed the you know the race voiceovers, because when we did Morrowind, it was you were given a race. You know,
Right.
I was Bretons and I was Orcs, and I was occasionally like Meru and Stegon and a few of the Daedric gods in there, but for the most part, here's your race, here's who you are, and go, and they all sounded somewhat the same. Susi Sirgala, the guy with the goatee like this and the beard, that was the only photo they showed me in Morrowind. Ah, yes, we've been expecting you. Come right in. Tell us a bit about yourself. Well, then every Breton sounded just like him.
Yeah,
Um,
that was the template, really.
yeah.
When I
And
did
that
Remaster, I
template
probably
began
heard
to
you.
change in Oblivion. So when we go to Oblivion Remastered,
Criken.
yeah, they are like, hey,
Yeah.
let's do what we've done with everything else successfully since then, and let's vary up some of these voices. And they bring in people like you who meld in so well and really belong. And are you a bunch of the beggars and things of that sort?
Imperial beggars. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm glad not to be the beggars right now because we started doing a beggar voice. But then when the AI kicked in, it went right back to the imperial voice. And everybody thought all the beggars are spies.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
But, now all the beggars are different folks. And it makes it feel a little more populated. And yet it doesn't take away from the soul of what Oblivion was. And I think there's a warmth and a soul to this game that is special.
Can I add to
You know,
that?
yeah, go ahead.
Since we're talking about a lot of it is ancient history, I want to say that Mark Lampert, in my opinion, maybe he wasn't a genius, but he was at least brilliant. He was my Yoda. I couldn't have done it without him. I came into this thing, I had done some other games for Bethesda, small stuff, and then came to this thing, and now I have 6,600 effing lines. But that's all they are. Page after page, one line. And guess what we had to go on. And this is of course not to you people I'm looking at. This is the people who don't know about ancient history. We're looking at a page where our character's name is XJG4720 the entire time because they didn't want to put down the name of the characters in front of us.
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard to remember because we're trying to get them from XJG 4730, whatever it is. We're trying to keep them the same because you can do 12 lines, but in another 1,000 lines, you have more. They did it in the order they needed to do it in. None of us understood the way this new thing worked at all. But Mark Lampert was so patient and kind and easy to understand. He got us to know XJG 4730. And by the time we finally saw him like 40 pages later, we actually knew, oh, that's XJG 4730. And we remembered what we had done because we wanted our characters to, if they were that, I didn't even know they were characters. We wanted it to make sense. And he was just amazing at every single thing he did. I can never talk enough about Mark because without him, well, I didn't know what I was doing at all. And thank God we had him. And thank God those geniuses could all put these things together that we did. and it actually made sense to people.
Yeah.
And my jaw is still dropped as far
Let's
as,
not forget Chip Ellinghaus, who was the engineer for.
oh my God.
We lost Chip this year, and that was a sad thing. But Chip was just the best.
He was a great guy.
You
Great guy.
know, another thing too that I thought was so, I love that you're giving Mark all these accolades because, you know, with the females, and Barry, you probably will relate to this too. With the females, he made it a point to tell us it was a female.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
take a look at these characters.
Mhm.
They don't necessarily have boobs and, you know, everything else.
Mine did.
You know, yeah. I mean, you know, there was some configuration, but really what it was being very aware that what you still were, even though that voice was, you know, way wherever the hell it was a woman,
Right.
was a female, and to relate to her as a mother, as a
Mm.
wife, as a
Exactly.
sister.
Mhm.
That came from Mark giving you something to go by with that X4769 line, you know, that you have.
Good point.
I'd like to ask a follow-up question because I think you guys also brought up how the transition to home studios after and during COVID made a big change in kind of the workflow. I mean, how have you been able to kind of still have this closeness when you're working with a director that you just described when you are now doing it from home? And is there ways that you've been able to kind of,
Well,
you know,
like DB Cooper, when I was doing ESO in the past couple of iterations with that, we had to change Hermaeus Mora a bit because Hermaeus, the way I did him in Oblivion and the way I did him in Skyrim, was way different. Not way different, but different than ESO because ESO there was so much lore. So we had to speed him up a bit, but keep it the same at the same time. And working with DB, it was kind of, I always told her, I said, this is like a tango. This is like a dance. And it was done right here in this old booth. And she was on another place. We were on Source Connect. We had her hooked in. We had folks from Bethesda hooked in another location. We have people from, I've done jobs where I've had somebody from Hong Kong and somebody from LA in different time zones from me all on the line at the same time. You basically, once you get into it, once you start getting into the character and it starts coming from within and who you are and you get tied into it, if they're into it and you're into it, it's not that much different than looking across and seeing a small window where somebody's peering in on the other side. Because we don't have a whole lot of physical contact with our folks and our engineers in any booth or in any situation. They're coming through our headphones. And as voice actors, we can imagine a lot. And I can imagine them on the other side of the glass. And truthfully, I don't want to imagine them on the other side of the glass because that's not my job. My job is to have Lucian LeChance in the sanctuary saying, "The Night Mother loves you, dear child of Sithis," and feel Lucian from within and see the sanctuary. I don't see the engineer on the other side of the booth. I don't see the inside of my booth. I see the world that I'm inhabiting at the time.
Mm.
And if you're doing it right, if you're voice acting and you're in the middle of it, that's where you need to be. So I think it's not that big a deal doing it away or doing it in person at a studio. What it does mean is that I can wear comfier pants and I don't have to look for parking.
Wes,
Very true.
just to chime in here. So we've had quite a few donations come in. We also pinned at the top of chats and also dropped in. We have count them, 3 copies of Oblivion Remastered to give away. So keep your eyes peeled for those links. Click through and enter to win. We're going to be doing some giveaways, drawing here at the end of the stream. But so 27,569.69 we are at. We've had quite a few donations come in. Scarlet Willow, $25. I Kneel for $10. Crazy, 68.16 for 20. Scamper, thank you very much for that $100 donation. Adi also wrote something here for a $10 donation. Elder Scrolls was something I used to play while sitting next to my ailing grandparents. Alzheimer's is a scourge. I truly hope we find a cure so my kids don't have to watch me suffer through the same thing. And you know what? I've lost two people I love to this disease, which genetic lottery wise, I don't know if it's going to be me or my brother. This affects a lot of people. It's takes from a lot of people. It's a horrible wasting disease. And thank you very much for that donation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are wonderful. Every little bit of this is going to the Alzheimer's Association. It's helping people who are suffering right now, and you're making a big difference in their lives. Gamers and streamers are some of the best people I have ever met. Just sterling-hearted folks. You hear these people talking about toxic gamers. Very small percentage, very small percentage. The majority of everybody I've had the pleasure to meet have been heartfelt, kind, artistic, and working to help. They want to help. They want to do the right things. And you're bringing light into this world in some of the darkest times. And I can't thank you enough. I'm so grateful to you. And some of you out there talking about how you're doing this for your family and your parents or your grandparents and people that you've lost. Absolutely. Tell us their names. Let us say their names. Remember them, because we are the keepers of their memory now. We are the keepers of who they are. Maybe they don't remember anymore, but we will always. So thank you.
Please said.
We also got another message,
Grandmother
Energy,
Ruth.
for a $10 donation as well. I love all of what you guys do in this incredibly important cause, which hits home to so many. May we all have a future where we have defeated Alzheimer's once and for all.
Yeah. Absolutely. KB Grimweaver mentioned her great-grandmother, Ruth Herbert. So here's to you, Ruth. Thank you.
I had a grandmother on my father's side who suffered from it. And I saw her at a family reunion. She was well, first of all, she was a great storyteller. She was born and bred in Kentucky. And sitting on the front porch and telling stories about the family was some of the most enjoyable times I had as a kid. And I saw her at a family reunion. She was in her 90s, and the disease had taken pretty good hold. And I said, "Hi, grandmother." And she said, "Honey, I'm not playing with a full deck. You're going to have to tell me who you are." She was a woman, just the sweetest woman. It's a horrible thing to watch. It's been called the long goodbye, and I think that is very fitting.
Yeah, there seems to be a surge of early onset happening too. I've lost three folks to that, much younger than the typical, how the disease typically presents. And it's just and your loved ones and spouses, you're totally caught off guard. It's not something that you even considered as a possibility, for your partner to start. And then you get all the cognitive testing done and you realize, oh, this is early onset, and that's such a devastating blow to family and loved ones and spouses, because you just don't see that.
Do we know why there's a surge in younger cases?
I mean, that could be anecdotal. I don't know that for sure.
Oh,
I've
no,
heard that. I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I don't know why it's happening, but we are seeing it even more publicly with people like, Robin Williams with the Lewy body dementia, and Bruce Willis, who can no longer speak. We've lost so many of our other actors recently, and they talk about the loss to Alzheimer's or dementia, and you realize you haven't heard from them in about a year or two, and it's out there, and it hits people, and nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. It's as if there's a great shame. What I like about the fact that the family is doing with Bruce Willis is they're keeping people apprised of it, and they're with full hearts and open eyes looking at the situation and making it more normalized for a lot of other people. If Bruce Willis is going to go through it, then
Just-
I can too. I mean, we're talking. This is somebody who caught it in his late 50s.
Just to jump in here, Wes, we have now crossed $28,000 raised. Extremely well done. Thank you all very, very much for the donations as they're coming in.
Great.
And also, just to jump in on there, Wes, you know, when both my when my great grandmother, when I was growing up, she had it. It was something that was almost a family shame. You know, you don't really talk about it. You don't acknowledge it. It's a complex disease. It's tough to watch someone you love go through it. But the worst thing is this almost caregiver's shame that you carry, where you're trying to do the best that you can for them. You don't have answers or resources. One of the greatest things about the Alzheimer's Association is they have people on staff that you can pick up the phone, you can call them. If you have a parent, an aunt, a cousin, maybe someone you don't live with, but you want to know a little bit more about the disease, or you don't even know where to go for help or resources, call them. That is what they're there for. So you can vent and get answers from people who can give you the answers that you need.
And there are answers out there. Not all of them are easy. But when you have somebody who understands, it helps. It helps a lot.
I also want to point out that Glenn Campbell had early onset as well, and his daughter and he put together a documentary, and he was still playing and he was still singing, and they were very open about it, which made it not that it was any less scary or upsetting, but you saw how people were actually coping with it in real life.
Yeah. Well, he wrote his last song and sang his last song was about Alzheimer's.
That song is a tearjerker. If you look it up on YouTube, yeah, Glenn Campbell's, it's God, what are the it's
I won't remember you,
yeah,
something
that's
like
it. Yeah. Brutal.
When
And it was
he sang Wichita Lineman and the last line, I'm doing fine, it's just, that was a great, great show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have Tony Bennett, music. These guys hold on to the music. For some reason, the music seems to stay. He would every day go to the piano and he would forget people around him, but he would
Yeah.
remember the songs. And towards the last month of his life, they brought him out to Carnegie Hall with Lady Gaga, who he had become very close friends with. And when she came out onto the stage, he hadn't remembered her in weeks. Hadn't remembered her in weeks. And suddenly she's there, and he turns and he looks and he goes, Lady Gaga. Now, if you watch this, watch her because it's very emotional, because it stopped her in her tracks, because her friend recognized her. Now, it shows that she's a trooper to keep on going, but also the emotion there in that moment. If for anybody who's ever had a loved one that didn't know who they were anymore, and for that briefest of seconds, they do, and they're there, and it's going to be gone again in a moment, but you hold on to it as hard as you possibly can. In that moment, I nearly lost it watching because
Me too.
I've been there. We've all been there. We've seen it. And to lose somebody before you lose them is one of the toughest things in this world. It's hard to try to care for somebody in that situation. It makes your life very difficult. Sometimes you want to throw things down. You don't want to continue. You don't want to do this anymore. And I surely wish that we had that number and someone had told me, go to alz.org, call the 24/7 hotline and talk to somebody, anybody. But since then, I've discovered the wonderful people at the Alzheimer's Association. I had my own health issues in January this past year, where basically I died and I got brought back. I was in a coma for about a week.
We thought we were losing you.
Yep, we sure did.
I was there for the Alzheimer's Association, their big meeting. I was going to speak. And instead of me working for them, they had somebody there. They took shifts 24/7 until my family was able to arrive, sitting with me while I was in a coma. put my family up in the room that I was going to be in for the whole time I was in the hospital, and got rooms for my brothers and sisters, even though they said they didn't think I'd make it. But they were there for me, and they fought for me every step of the way, just as they're fighting every step of the way for everybody who's dealing with this. I've worked with them for the longest day, worked for them in the fall for the walk to end Alzheimer's. I'll do anything I can to try to stop this disease. And all my friends here, who all come out every year, Ken, all of the voice actors who would give their heart and soul to help, and all the gamers and the streamers from around the world who dive in every year and fight tirelessly to end Alzheimer's disease and bring a little light into this world. I love you all. Thank you.
You know, I want to say one thing about that that I don't think we say enough of. One, we're all extremely thankful that you're still here. But two, they found Wes. Those people found you, and it's likely you're here because of those amazing people at the Alzheimer's Association who knew something was off and went to check on you. But in sharing a lot of that, we had an astounding $500 donation. Dragon92.
Thank you, Dragon.
Thank you so very much. Amazing.
It's amazing.
Addicted to Chaos, also $100 donation. Thank you very much. Scamper for a $100 donation. 8-Bit Zig for a $100 donation. Thank you very much. Why don't we have some fun here now?
Yeah, let's have some fun.
We're all in the feels. You know, people have been sharing some amazing messages in chat. Thank you for that donation that just came in. Yeah, so let's have some. I think I saw the adoring fan there a second ago, Criken.
I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
Very.
Oh, Zura, there you are.
Ah,
Can we hear a little, Craig?
Oh, oh, there he is. Yeah. How you doing, bud? That's the new guy, right?
Yeah, that's his new glow.
adoring fan.
yep, your glow up.
It's his new
He
glow up,
looks
yeah.
so much more normal.
He still got the ice cream hair, though, you know?
Yeah.
They didn't change the important stuff.
Bias Yora. I can't believe I'm here with the legendary Criken, my absolute favorite grand champion of all time. Hello there, Criken. Thanks
Hello
for
there,
making me
adoring
look
fan.
even more beautiful than I was before.
Oh, that's going to
I'm
be
glad you
clipped.
got your glow up, adoring fan.
One of my favorite moments ever was when we did the celebration for the 10th anniversary of Skyrim, and you put on that troll wig, Craig. First of all,
So
you have
good.
like the best head of hair since Pierce Brosnan. And you cover that up with the troll wig was truly a moment. And it just, and I've seen you wearing it ever since, and it just every time tickles me to no end.
I have it in a special drawer with all of my other sex toys.
Oh my God.
It's the first thing that goes on.
Oh, it's just a matter.
Last.
The most adoring fan of all time.
It's just
Really.
a matter of time.
Actually, that brings another question, not about the sex stuff, but does do you ever feel like a character that you've played for a game comes out in your day-to-day life?
Yes.
Sometimes either in
Without a
voice
doubt.
or in like,
Without a
energy.
doubt. As a matter of fact, it's almost embarrassing. Adoring fan comes out all the time.
Really?
I was going to say that we, at one point in the very near future, like in the next few minutes, we might all talk about what is our greatest moment performing and learning, because that's what this was for me. I couldn't believe how much I learned, and I couldn't believe the challenge. At some points, I'd be reading this stuff, and there'd be lines, and I said, okay, I can do that. And Mark Lampert would say, oh yeah, and we want you to sing it. And I go, okay, why didn't you, no one sent me the melody. Could you give me the melody? Well, that's the whole point, Craig. There is no melody. You're going to sing it. You're going to make it up. All right, so give me a few minutes. No, we're going to do it now, Craig, right now. Just
Oh my God.
take these words. I don't know if anybody ever experienced that, but take these lines and just sing. Craig, it doesn't have to be good. We don't expect it to be on the hit parade. It's not going to make the top 10, but we want you to sing your guts out.
And
That's the kind
how'd it go? Was it the
of
Cliff
talent
Racer song,
that
or
doesn't, yes,
it
that
was
one
that
of
was
them.
the Cliff Racer song? That's
Yes,
famous.
that was where you're not allowed to be embarrassed. And the whole thing about being an actor, I'm not talking for all actors, all performers, but the greatest thing that can happen is when you perform and you go for it. That
Mm,
doesn't mean the greatest thing happens when you go for it and get it. It's just having the guts to go for it, having the guts to take the chance on failing,
mm,
because they're going to take it. It's just like with any director on camera stuff. Any director say, okay, Greg, I want you to do this. And I go, but Harold, if I do that and it sucks and you love it, everyone's going to watch me suck. And Harold said, yeah, pretty much that's the way it goes. That's why
mm.
we're paying you. And you decide what you're going to do.
Wait
Does
a
it
minute.
suck
If
if
someone's
everyone
paying you
loves
to
it?
suck, that's the wrong job.
Yeah. Well, we all have our own interpretations about what takes certain directors should have taken, right? But the one they choose is the one they choose. Anyway, my greatest moment, well, no, my greatest thing about my experience making Oblivion was that I went to places I did not think I had the courage to try to go to. And that pushed me so high that I never came down from it. In other
Mm,
words, it's one of these rungs on a ladder, too many metaphors, rungs on a ladder where I never went down from that rung. It really brought me up as an actor, and it allowed me to be more comfortable trying things that would have appeared very uncomfortable if Mark Lampert hadn't put a microphone to my head and said, "No, just do it, Craig. Just
That was
do
the
it."
great thing. He gave you freedom.
Yes.
Gave you
mm.
freedom to just go for it. Just go for the edge of the cliff, and I'll pull you back if I have to. But just go for it.
There's no pulling back
So
with
much,
Mark Lampert.
made it so much fun. It was just more fun than I can ever remember.
You know,
Yes.
when you talk about the favorite part, I don't, it's kind of funny. Mine, what I think I came away with was the amount of anger that I was able to channel, the amount of fury that I was able to channel in the character, in the female.
Mm,
And that's something that, as a woman, you really try not to do.
sure.
You don't want to be a screaming bitch, and you want to try to keep all that under control. So to actually be controlled in front of a microphone, but being uncontrolled as letting that anger go. And I see Barry, do that. Yeah. That was a very interesting part for me as a woman
Mm.
in the Argonian.
I'd love to ask a follow-up question, Elizabeth. I know in Oblivion there's a lot of, let's say, maybe race tension between the Argonians and the Khajiits, especially in Leywin, that city. Every NPC you talk to, they're like shit talking the other one, and there's like a lot of anger, like you're describing. As being the voice of both of them, how was that for you? Was there a way you could kind of code switch between the Argonian and the Khajiit? Did you feel like you interpreted their anger differently? Or how
Yeah,
did you
I
kind of keep
gave
this
each
tension?
one of them a feminine thing.
Mm.
One was a mother and one was a wife.
Oh, interesting.
I just, so the mother thing was a little bit more angry because you're protecting, that brings out that lioness in you,
Yeah.
that protective anger. Don't fuck with me,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Whereas the other was more like just somebody just pissing you off.
Mm.
But it didn't have that sort of that fury of protecting someone you love. And so that's how I was able to, and I remember, that's funny you should ask that, because I remember very clearly making that choice, because I didn't want the voices to be alike,
Mm.
or the motivation.
Yeah.
We just
No, I think that totally comes across.
sorry to interrupt you for 1 second here. We had Poe come in with a $100 donation. Thank you, Poe.
Oh,
Anonymous
Poe.
coming in for a $100 donation. That brings us right now to 28,512. Can we hit 29,000 chats? Let's
Gonna
go.
cry.
Good if I would know how to do this. So
We're
somebody's going to text me and tell me how I can get live on this Twitch. Sorry
We're
for
gonna
everybody in
crush
the
30, I
audience.
think.
You
I think
see, I am not a technician either, John.
I'll send you it after, Liz, so you can take
I
a
think
look.
you have to
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
their window.
I'm gonna see if I can get my Commodore 64 working here.
Yeah.
How about anyone else? Does anyone else have a particular performance or moment or scene that they, speaks to them that they kind of think back on often?
Well, with Shea Gorath for me, it was interesting because they gave me for the first time. Normally, when you get a voice acting job, you sometimes have an audition. You have a rough idea what they want, but then you go in and then there's like four different characters, and there are characters you'd never seen. So you're kind of making them up as you go along when you get into the studio. You don't know what the script's going to be. You don't know what these are. Well, they sent me a page of Shea Gorath a week in advance.
Oh wow.
They allowed me the time to think about it, and they said, "We want to do sort of a stand-up kind of guy, maybe a Robin Williams kind of thing." And I thought, and they said, "We want him to be scary, funny, a little dangerous, perhaps you feel comfortable, and then you're not." And I thought, Robin's too cuddly for that. It's like, "I'll skip rope with your entrails, I will." So I thought, no, maybe not Robin. If I'm going stand up, who would I go with? And I started thinking around. There was Bobby Slayton, the Pitbull of comedy. Shea was not very Jersey. And then I thought, Billy Connolly. I love Billy Connolly, the Scottish comedian, who you get a feeling from him. You're laughing at everything he does, but you're like, if you go drinking with him, like you would go drinking with Richard Burton or Peter O'Toole and think you could end up getting slugged by the end of the night. There's a little danger there. And I thought, well, I can't just do a straight up impersonation of him. And then I thought about my friends over at the Irish Channel near the arena when I do the Caps games, and the guy who owns it, Tom Stack. He's from Cork, Ireland, and he's a fine fella. And I thought, well, what if I took a little bit, since he's got mania and dementia, and this is what happens when you give a voice actor a week. I'm thinking, oh, this mania and he's got dementia, so he could be Scottish 1 minute when he's manic. Then when he's got the dementia, he's got a little more lyrical and he's more Irish. And then what about when he's malevolent and it all drops and it's gone? Because all of his affectation, because he's neither Scottish nor Irish or whatever. So I started playing with this and going between these things and sort of started thinking of the lines like this little bit of mercury on a hot skillet shooting around, not knowing where it's going to go. So if you don't know in any one given sentence where it's going to start emotionally and where it's going to end, it'll throw you off kilter. And if he drops his accent in the middle of it, malevolence, it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. You won't know why. And the accents are a little bit it's like, well, he's this, is he that, what is he? I thought this is perfect for a guy who's mad and has affectation. So I went in and started playing it that way and disappeared into it. Just, you go into your head and into the world and you're doing this whole thing. And by the time we finished, from what I've been told, when Todd started playing it, he was like, what the hell is this? But then started going, I kind of like it. It started growing on him. And then it grew on him more. And then he's like, yes, let's do this. Is great. So Shea Gorath was, for me, to get that Rubik's Cube of character and play with it. Who is he? Where is he from? Why is this? Why is he doing that? When you have a little bit of time to play with something like that, it's a luxury in the video game world. And that to me made it really special. That was a special thing for me.
You know what I do too? I bet everybody does this, but when you audition for something, sometimes you don't know you have the job. You never know that, but you know that job is a good one for you to have, I save all my auditions because sometimes I don't really recall what I did,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm just doing it. I'm in it. I'm, engrossed in it. I'm enveloped in it.
Right. And sometimes they don't come back to you for a month and a half, and you're like, what did I do?
Right.
Right.
I save the audition, not everything, but ones I feel, pretty secure about that that I would like to do. Actually, it's one I would like to do.
That's one of the advantages of doing when the pandemic happened, we started doing all these auditions just from home studios, is that you have all of them. So I find that to be great, because then you can go back and see what you did.
Yeah. And sometimes I go back and go, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, really.
Really fucking terrible.
Oh, just diving in here. $500 donation from Adele.
Oh,
Wow.
Adele.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Adele.
Great.
We love Adele.
Adele. Thank
so
you.
We're now at $29,041.69.
Put us over.
Oh, we're going to crush 30,000.
If we hit 30,000,
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Wes is going to have to come up with a Sheogorath poem in iambic pentameter.
Okay.
Somebody had asked us to read some things in character voices I saw coming up earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe what we should do, I think we've
Criken,
done
you had
this
an idea for
before, is for a certain amount of a donation, say a $10 donation, you say, I want you to read this. You donate $10, we'll give you a quick line.
And we'll
How's
keep
that?
it clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the
Yes.
it's for the kids.
Yes.
PG-13.
Kids. Yeah, sorry. I won't
We're going to try real hard, Jess.
Hey, even a PG-13s allow F-bombs every now and then.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
You get one.
Right.
I do remember Mark Lampert going, "Hey Wes, we're doing this Fallout game, and I think you'll enjoy it. It's similar to Oblivion, except there's a lot more cussing."
Was that the
And you're
selling
like,
point?
I'm in. I'm in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, totally. We need another trip to Vegas, I think, Wes.
A trip to Vegas would be great.
Yeah, for Oblivion. How about an Oblivion? Let's do
We
it.
had a grand time out there in Vegas, but it has to stay there in Vegas, John.
Yeah. Shall not be spoken of.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
I remember
in
my
fact,
first
we're
time.
going to be doing something for ESO coming up on Thursday.
Oh, great.
And I think that Courtney just said she may be joining, and Paul might join us. If you join us, that would be the whole gang back together again from Vegas.
Yeah, shoot me a text. Let me know.
Yeah, the Vegas gang rides again. It's JB Blank's going to be there.
Oh, no shit.
Keith Sarabika, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Fantastic. Yeah, shoot me a text.
All right.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I played Fallout New Vegas, and that was my first exposure to that city. And then much later, when I went there in person, I was like, "Oh my God, it's so much bigger than this one tiny strip."
Right.
Yeah, but I felt
That's
immediately
too.
like I knew the place. And when I was driving in, I drove past like Good Springs and all these locations that was referenced in the game. And same with visiting Washington for Fallout 3. I think
Right.
it's such an amazing thing to feel like you know a city from a game, and then to go there and actually see it in person and see even the street corners that the artists may have gone to and taken photos, because it is like a one-to-one recreation where they captured.
We went to some big function, some big convention kind of thing, and on the tables they had these capitals, the Capitol building made out of white chocolate. So I snagged one, brought it home. My boys and I ate portions of it off and destroyed it just enough to make it look like the one from Fallout 3.
Oh,
No
yeah.
way! That's such a great idea.
The
Brilliant.
Fallout 3 Capitol in white chocolate. I have to say, the wasteland was delicious.
That's
To this
adorable.
day, I can't go into the DC Metro without thinking about Fallout 3.
All
Yeah.
the ghouls. Yeah.
How are you going to get out?
Yeah, it's a
Funny
maze
thing
down
is,
there
there are ghouls there all the time.
Yeah.
all the time. Oh yeah, yeah, even real life too, I imagine.
We did have a few messages come in. Finch with a $9 donation in honor of my grampy who always knew he loved me even when he couldn't remember me. $1 for each year you've been gone. Big love to you, Finch.
There's the Grampy.
Danish D, thanks to Wes Johnson, Craig Sleckler, and all of you for voicing people in my favorite game.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's community.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is one of somebody had put something in here that they wanted read, and I was trying to find it, and
So
I
no,
just can't for
see it
some
chat. Prompt him again.
Yeah, try it again, guys. Oh, here we go. This was Anime. Said they wanted to hear, and I don't know if you've made a donation, but you can if you want to, but they wanted to hear Shea Gorath say, maces, swords, axes. Whatever happened to bludgeoning someone to death? Jeez!
Love it.
It doesn't get
Yeah,
old.
if anyone in chat has requests, drop a donation. What'd you say, a minimum of $10, Wes?
Yeah, $10 donation.
$10 and pick any voice actor here to say what you want them to say in the character of your choice.
I actually have a question for Craig. I love how kind of flamboyant some of the elves can be in this game, and I'm curious if the decision to like roll the R's and like the kind of sing-songy voice came from you testing it out, or if it came from your voice director, or kind of how you guys reached that decision together.
Nothing came from a voice director ever because that's how brilliant the voice director was. Have you ever heard of Clint Eastwood's 4 directions when he directs movies? He's an
No.
Oscar-winning director. He has 4 things he says: slower, faster, louder, softer.
Mm.
This is from Kevin Bacon, who showed up, I think it was Mystic River, who showed up after everyone else. And it's so wonderful to hear that movie stars, I mean, big ass movie stars, show up shitting their pants because everybody seems to know everybody on a set when your first day occurs. And it's like you're late to the party, you're scared. He goes up to Clint Eastwood and goes, Clint, I want to talk to you a couple of things about he says, what are you talking about? About my character. I want to, what am I? No. You're a great actor. That's why I hired you. Just be yourself. And Kevin Bacon goes, wow. And then he says for the rest of the movie, all he ever heard from Clint Eastwood was, yeah, slower, faster, louder, quieter. That was it. Because the rest was he expected Kevin Bacon to do his effing job.
Mm.
As everybody knows, Kevin Bacon knows how to do. And to be treated that way by Mark Lampert, it just made me feel like some kind of superstar or something. I mean, he demanded that I do things, but he never told me how to do it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He never told me how to perform it. There were no the worst thing in the world for any actor. And
Like a line read.
How did you know what I was going to say?
I have a lot of friends in film and TV as well, and that was the first thing I learned was if you ever work with an actor, never quote the line back to them. And
do anything except give them a line, because that's the one way they know they shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
There are some very funny recordings that someone surreptitiously recorded to very famous actors, including William Shatner and Orson Welles, not to name anybody.
No, I want to hear how you do
it. Having this back and forth with their producer, who invariably would wind up giving them line reads, which were catastrophic. But they are now historical artifacts in our business.
I'll go down on you.
Huh?
That's right. We have one of the great Captain Kirks here. Anyway, go ahead.
Orson Welles on his frozen peas commercial.
Yes.
A classic, and the William Shatner one, No, no, I want you to say it your way, and you know what you want. This guy's on the other side going, "Oh, Mr. Shatner, I'm really sorry I ever spoke to you, sir. Can you just read it the way you did initially?" No.
You know, I have to say, Wes, that I feel like that was a
And
less popular
young lady.
version of when Orson Welles dressed down as someone for the.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We
Was that
also
the wine commercial?
we've had 3 donations come in. So we got Garbage. We just need you to announce what you wanted. We got Deco Pulp asking for can I get a Tunnel Snakes rule from Craig Seckler? Which Deloria?
Tunnel snakes rule.
Tunnel snake
Vault
rule.
101. I'll show you a real tunnel snake.
Oh God.
Grim Weaver, we got Wes. Have Lucy and LaChance recite The Muffin Man like you did at TCC last year. I think the whole ES community really needs to hear it. It was hilarious. What was that?
Do you know the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane?
Perfect.
Watching Greg lose it was so
Genius.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Thank you.
I don't want to know the Muffin Man. Thank you very much.
Veda Phoenix coming in with $25. Tell us why we should use a Swada as Hermaeus Mora. Wow, we're crossing universes.
Oh, because if you're reading all the wrong books, you'll discover that the Earth's water is used by 9 people on one team. And if they kill everyone on the other side, then they are the winners.
Yeah. Chills.
Yeah, Mo Cronin would agree with him, absolutely.
Love it.
What you have there? Hey, Jeff
Hey,
Baker.
puppy.
Who's
Hey,
your
puppy.
teammate? Oh my goodness.
Okay, I gotta get mine now.
What a beauty.
Yeah.
Is this the part, is this
Boy,
the,
who's gonna-
of the show where everybody pulls out their wieners?
Oh God. Do you all have dachshunds?
No.
I have a dachshund, yeah.
Okay, so like 30% have dachshunds.
That's a pretty large percentage.
That is a pretty large percentage. Yeah.
It's later in the game. Maybe I should go ahead and bring in the Finn.
Please bring
The
Finn in.
fin.
Finn closed us out last time. It's tradition now.
I used to have my Schatzi Kaiser William Frederick Schultz. He was
Oh,
my Dachshund.
that's adorable.
Run sideways. Did you run sideways?
Like a crab?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was funny. Just he's real long. He used to run like that. Schatzi Kaiser William Frederick Schultz. Look at that.
I've given her a voice. She has a voice.
Oh yeah? Can we hear it?
Yeah. I want something right now.
I want something right now. John, what an adorable. Who's that?
This is Georgia. She's a saucy old broad. She's 12 years old now.
Aw.
Aw.
And the kids are trying to convince us to get a puppy. I don't know about that, but she's still pretty deft. You know, she's still getting around and they can live a while, I've heard. Look at yours. Oh, Wes, so cute. That's the
Look
puppy.
at
That's the
that.
puppy, Georgia.
Hi, Finn. He's wiggly.
So
Oh, look at him go.
Look at that.
we had a $10 donation come in from Collateral. May Sheo Gorath say apartment complex. I find it quite simple.
Apartment complex? Ha! I find it quite simple.
Perfect.
Finn
The
is
dog?
like, who is that?
That was
I rarely do share Gorath for the dog.
This is my guy.
Oh,
Oh, look at
one
him.
ear up, one ear down.
That's
I love it.
Harpo.
Harpo,
Harpo.
what a sweetie.
I'd show him to you in what, but he's too big to pick up.
Yeah,
I remember
we
during
Here is a mini dachshund, and he's supposed to only get about 11 pounds, but he's already like 8.5.
Oh yeah.
We got him, he started off at a little under 3 pounds, basically the size of his head.
Wow.
And he feeds well. He likes his food
Yeah.
and
Yes,
his
I
naps.
saw him.
I remember during the Oblivion Remaster reveal afterwards when I think Wes, you were interviewed, you had Finn like hidden in your coat or something. And
Yeah, Finn sat there the whole time.
yeah, we were watching on my stream, and I think 30 minutes went by before someone was like, "Hey, that's a dog." And suddenly we all
It's a
noticed it.
revelation.
Right up. Yeah.
Not everybody gets to hang out with Finn and the Finster at the same time. It was
Yeah.
a very lucky day for me.
Yeah.
It's all around.
He looks bigger, doesn't he, Jess?
Oh, he's much bigger now. And yawnier.
Big
Yeah,
yawn.
he's got that Snoopy yawn.
Yeah.
Hi, Finn. I gotta look.
Oh wow. All right. Now we're cooking with gas now. So we're now at 29,241.69. We can do this. We are less than $800 away from 30,000 chats. Come on, we can do this.
Let's do this, guys.
Yeah.
The
All right,
big
we've got-
dogs.
so we've got a
bring out
few-
the big dogs.
We have a few requests that came through. So we've got Rango Bango, Craig, as I'm going to say this correctly, Hertel the Altmer, that runs up to tell you that Kavach was destroyed in Oblivion.
I have no idea what you're talking
Yes.
Just say it like Craig Zeckler.
about.
I know this one. This is the
You do it,
run while
Criken.
you can voice while
Yeah.
he was
Remember the run while you can,
yeah.
Craig?
No, it was 20 years ago.
I remember seeing you come up and you ran up to me and you said that, and I go, look, it's Craig.
I'm sorry. I would love to
So,
do it.
Criken, give us the line. Give us the line.
Oh God, I went hunting for him. Literally, the first thing I did when the remaster came out, I ran into Kavach and I was like, I wonder if they have Run While You Can. And as soon as I said that, the camera whips around and he like grabs me by the shoulders from the other side, and it was perfect. They did keep your exact same line. I don't have the full script in front of me, but I think yeah, Daedra have overrun Kavach. Run while you can, and then you like run off to the hills immediately afterwards.
Let's collect that
awesome.
donation.
I wish
job.
I'd been there.
No, but I just did a line read. I literally broke the only rule you gave me. I'm so sorry.
No, that sounded really good.
I'm very happy you did it.
You're loud when we can't remember our lines at all.
All right, we got
Just give us a little run while you can, but I know you tripped the R's.
Yeah.
we've
You
got
tripped the R's when you did the run.
we got two actually for Jeff Baker. The first one from Dragon92, and another $25 on top of what you've already done so well. So thank you very much. Hey, loving the stream. Curious if Jeff Baker can still do his Dagoth voice, and if so, could say, Dagoth welcomes you, Criken, to this place where destiny is made.
Agatha welcomes you to this
Whoop.
place.
Turn that off.
What's the rest of
Apologies for the
Dagoth welcomes you, Criken, to this place where destiny is made.
Agatha welcomes you to this place where destinies are made.
Beautiful.
Perfect. And then one more from Zakute. Would love to hear Jeff Baker's favorite Dagoth quote.
Dagoth what?
A favorite quote, like a line that maybe you liked, or a line that stood out to you.
Let's see. I can't recall any particular lines.
Hang on, let's you know what, chat? Hit us up with your favorite Dagoth quote, and then we'll get Jeff to say that.
Yeah, throw it into chat.
Morrowind was a very long time ago. It's
And
true.
also,
I don't think I'll be able to remember it too.
Adele, seriously, another $100, Adele. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you,
Adele!
Adele.
Jeez, 29,341.69. We are now less than $700 away from 30,000, with just about 7 minutes left in the stream.
Wow.
So let's do it. Every dollar counts.
$100 a minute.
$100 a minute. That's we got it. We got it. Any auctioneers want to run that one off?
Somebody said, I am a god. I am a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence.
Ooh,
Dag
that's a good
Oh,
one.
there we go.
You got this, Jeff. I am a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence.
Hey. Say it again. I am a god.
How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence.
I am a god. How can you kill a god with intoxicating? I've forgotten the line.
That's perfect.
That was great.
Oh, nice. Hello. Here we go. Nassim, thank you very much for that $100 donation. A dog in a trench coat, $10. It's an actual dog in an actual trench coat. Thank you very much. So now we're at 29,451.69.
Wow.
Here we go. A little over $500 away.
Wow.
Come
Jeff,
on,
that was great. That was dig up or on Skooma, I think. So definitely.
the dogs want your money. Look at the face.
What's the HCA fairy
Turn
tale?
that face down.
We got a cat too if people want to. If people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Veda
It's
Phoenix.
you mean-
Oh,
Oh, I love fading in and out of focus.
Veda
Yeah.
Phoenix, thank you very much for that $100
Very
donation.
elusive.
You,
Oh,
wow.
Veda,
Thank you.
we love you.
Vita's also working on the mod that we're going to be voicing on the 27th,
Yeah.
and then we'll be
No
You wanna
way.
Talk about that a little bit, Wes.
I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah.
Oh, someone wants to hear Khajiit has coin if you have wares.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That would be you, Liz.
Where is that? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's just the line.
Yeah,
what was it?
Khajiit has
Give me
coin
one-
if you
I'm
have
still
wares.
trying to get on this to donate. Such is driving me crazy. Okay, give me the line, darling.
Khajiit has coin if you have wares.
Khajiit has coined that you have wares.
You have wares? Yeah, Veda Phoenix. So, Veda Phoenix, Kingath, Eleonora, Gopher, forgive me, I'm forgetting a few names here. A whole team of Bethesda modders getting together with an extremely out of focus cat in Jess's stream. That was amazing. No, the kitty's perfect.
He's fighting me now. Sorry, I didn't mean to be distracted.
Oh, it's playtime. Yeah, getting together to support Wes Johnson's Voice of Palooza. So they're going to be creating a mod this month for Fallout 4 that they're going to be dropping. And we've been sharing the whole process. You had your first meeting here on the Fallout for Hope channel there, Wes, last weekend. How did that go?
It went well. People bid on things that they wanted to have. Characters, the main character, what's he going to be like? I think he's a conspiracy theorist. They've got sidekick. They've got a bunch of different weapons. They've got locations. They bid on all these things that they're going to put into the mod. Now the writers have all the bits and pieces, and they're spending this week writing the mod. On the 27th, that's going to be, I think, is it a Friday, the 27th?
I believe so.
We're going to go live into my booth. The main character who is the conspiracy theorist, I will voice like I voiced the one last year for charity, which was last year was what are the guys, Raider turning into a super mutant. So we voiced that last year. This year we're doing a brand new one. So we'll voice it. You get to see how that's done with directing and all that in the booth. And then a couple of days as they put it together, the unveiling will be on Monday the 30th. We're doing our Voice-A-Palooza Prime on the 29th. We've got improv on the 28th. And then on the 30th, we're going to unveil the big mod. And once everybody gets a chance to see it, it's going to be free to play.
And just like
That
Todd
sounds
says,
amazing.
Awesome.
if you like this mod, it's now available to download and play.
One
we
from
just,
last year, if you want to check it out, I believe was
Oh, we're getting close. We're now at
Emote.
29,661 with the last couple of donations that came in here.
Come on, people.
right there.
Zarek C, you're all neat and we appreciate you. Thank you for your time for this cause. We appreciate you. Rabid Zero Rabbit. I work at a psychiatric hospital for Alzheimer's and dementia sufferers, and it is far easier for us, detached from the past of our patients, to care for individuals suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's. I can't imagine what it is like on the other side. Well, you know what? Thank you for what you do, because
Yes, thank you.
people get to a point where, as much as we want to keep them at home, it becomes unsafe and even untenable to do that. And so it helps to know that people like you keep them safe.
Memory centers are remarkable places, and the people who care for them there. My mother ended up having to be in one towards the end because she started venturing out in the vehicles and the cars. Some of it was funny. She'd drive to McDonald's. She'd get to McDonald's. She'd order food. She'd eat it on the way home. She'd get home. She'd look in the bag, see it's empty. She'd be like, well, I'll be up. She'd turn around, she'd drive back to the McDonald's and say, you gave me an empty bag.
No way.
Did this so many times that they were just waiting with a new bag of food for her there and didn't want to
Oh.
argue with her.
Wow.
And she'd get home and she'd be like, I don't know why I ordered this. I feel full. And she'd stick it in the fridge. She had more bags of McDonald's in her fridge when we had to finally clean it out than Dahmer had heads.
Oh my God.
Oh, we are now less than $300 away. $300 away from 30,000. Please, we can do this.
Oh yeah, come on guys, you
Yeah,
can
we
do
can-
this.
Go.
Let's cross
together.
that finish line. We've got a few more requests come through. Also, Veda Phoenix did ask, whose dog can dance the best?
Dog can dance the best?
Can dance the best.
I think Finn's a fine dancer.
Jessica's kitty's dancing.
There you go.
Best dog, the kitty. Yeah.
Here, Bobby, I got you.
He just
Oh, whoa, look at Finn go. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's a competition.
When my daughter was about 5, she put zombie googly eyes on Georgia, and
Zombie googly
made her
eyes?
do a creepy zombie dance. I wish I
Oh,
could
Adele.
pull that up right now.
Hilarious.
it's terrifying.
All right, we need
She's gonna eat your brains.
Adele. Adele just donated another $400.
Oh,
Watching us from
Oh
the
my
top. So
God.
you know what, Adele? Whichever chat you're in, please, if there's anything that you want from any of these people, it's because of you today that I'm beyond words right now. If there's
Yeah.
anything, any requests that you have, definitely
Amazing.
drop that in chat, please. We had a few.
He means
other,
anything.
absolutely anything. Swear
PG-13.
word. At this point, screw it.
PG-13.
No.
Fine.
Scripts
Photo, back rub, whatever.
Scripts _3. Can Wes please say, I'm just chillin' and shiverin' aisles in the Shea Gorath voice?
Ah, well, just chilling in the Shivering Isles. It's also copacetic.
Perfect. Lino asking for, if possible, I'd love to hear Craig do the I do not fear death in the crazy elf voice. And thank you all for the great memories. Thank you for that $100 donation.
Ooh, thank you.
Wow.
I can't do that, but I just remembered a character that I did, and I remembered a couple of the lines, so I'm going to give you this. Thank you for your donation. Here it goes.
Oh, Tajit, come a little bit closer. I've just discovered something. But first, would you like a nice, tasty rat? Whoa! Did you hear that? It's the guards. They're coming for you! For me!
Oh, it's him.
I remember that.
Boy,
That's great.
Craig going all in with the character acting in that one. That
Yeah.
was badass.
I
That's
love it.
amazing.
I don't know about you guys, man.
I can do his other line.
Yeah.
I do not fear death.
Amazing.
When we were laying down new tracks for the remaster, I became obsessed with City Swimmer. And so George, the director, and we decided that, we came up with some very blue scenarios involving Khajiits riding City Swimmer across the lake, and City Swimmer sounding like Flipper, and like
Yes, fast.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Hey, John,
yeah.
I'd like to do just a quick little role play with you, okay?
Okay.
Guard versus guard. Are you ready?
Perfect.
Hold right there, criminal scum.
You pathetic moron! It is I, Sergeant. Have you forgotten?
You can't get away with that in my city. Your stolen goods are now forfeit. Pay the fine or serve your sentence.
You're a pathetic private. Fetch me a vat of mead before I rip your head off.
I will fetch you a pail of your own blood. With your blood.
Oh, arm yourself.
Ha!
Fantastic.
Amazing. A $25 donation coming in anonymously, and Jack, thank you for that $10 donation. Wow, there's one last thing I have to announce on stream, and I'm sorry, Criken, this is going to be a little embarrassing.
Uh-oh.
So Criken's amazing community has to date, since we started this a few months ago, raised $12,635 for you, Wes, and the Alzheimer's Association.
Really?
Wow.
Fantastic, man.
Thank you so much, guys.
You guys are just the best. The very best.
They loved our last stream as well. I think that talk was so amazing and really inspiring to a lot of people. I know a lot of people out there have been touched by Alzheimer's, either in their family or, with friends, and a lot of people on this panel as well, of course. So this is a cause that I think speaks to a lot of people, and to be able to pay it forward while also, be able to look back and, especially around these memories we have, and really cherish them with you talented people that it wouldn't have been possible without. So thank you so much for, sharing your time and your talents with all of us. And I'm just touched that we have the support we have today.
It's been amazing. You've been amazing. Your folks been amazing. The fans coming in from Bethesda. Jess, thank you so much for giving away such wonderful prizes today. And I hope some people out there get a chance to experience this game, because it's just too much fun.
They can all say hi to you in the game.
Come say hi. I'm in Tamriel.
So speaking of prizes, using Gleam here that everyone entered with, I just did a random pull of 3. And we have, so keep your, I'm going to reach out to you all after the stream, so check your whispers here. We've also got your email address. MYNSZX from Brittany, France. Congratulations on winning.
Congratulations.
Excellent.
Like France right now.
Bien fait.
You owe me a pickle. Has also won a copy. And John,
you get a pickle?
and John Crispin, you have Supinator. There we go. You have won a copy, so that's our 3
So
copies.
you owe me a pickle in chat.
Yes,
I
3
love
copies
it.
of Elder Scrolls.
Owe me a pickle just said, "Oh my OMG, I won."
Congratulations.
Yes, you did, Pickle.
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 So you have your choice of Xbox or PC, that's Steam. So Ken will reach out.
Yep.
And it says here that Czech and Malutz wanted Shagor to say, "Look for everyone," which seems very chaotic.
Blecko did request stop right there, Alzheimer's scum.
Oh,
Oh.
stop right there, Alzheimer's scum. Your stolen memories are now forfeit. Pay the fine and serve us a cure.
Yes.
Gas Dog coming in with that last $25 donation, and we are now past time. But you know what? This was time incredibly well spent. We've now smashed $30,000 goal, which means I need to up it, and we still have a few more weeks left in the month here, Wes.
Yes, we do. We got the big ESO panel coming up on Thursday, guys. You're going to want to check that out. We may be doing some radio plays this weekend. Ken and I are going to be scrambling to try to get that done. And then next week we've got the Apocalypse Squares game. We've got Improv, whose Apocalypse is it anyway? Voice of Palooza, the panel. And we've got some things. I think Maya wants to do something. We may be doing something with Maya. And we're going to be doing the big reveal recording on the 27th with King Gath Creations and Sim Settlements, and Vita is going to be part of that. And then we're going to have the 30th big unveiling, which is going to be fantastic. And then we're all going to have a fun time and collapse, play, and snooze.
Yes. Sleep is very key there afterwards.
Yeah.
You all are amazing.
Oh, sorry.
No, just gotta get on the camera.
Was that the during fan coming up, or was that something else?
Yeah, I think that was him. He's barking like a
Adoring
dog.
fan right there.
He's so proud of everyone.
Amazing.
Amazing.
And thank you, Jess, of course, and thank you all Bethesda for borrowing your airwaves today. Thank you.
Oh, please. Anytime. You guys are the best.
And thanks again to Jeff Baker, John Curry, to Barry Byrne, to Liz Noon, Craig Seckler, to you, Kenneth Vigue, and to you, Criken. Guys, this has been a blast. Let's do it again next year.
Okay.
100%.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good.
Goodbye, everybody. Good night.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Say good night, Finn.